YouTube. God bless you. This is Pastor Nate. Prayerfully, this video finds you well this morning. I pray this exhortation finds you exceptionally well in every part of your life. Listen real quickly. You saw the title. Don't play the victim now. You kept poking the bear. Y'all, if you look at another video I made a few days ago, it's called I'll Warn You, Leave Me Alone, something to that effect. It's kind of similar to this, but we do have some different elements in the exhortation. So real quickly, let's get into it. The scripture says in Colossians 3:21, it says, fathers, do not provoke your children. Now, that's what it means when it says poking the bear. When you hear people say, you kept poking the bear, that means I provoked the bear. And when we look at the word provoke, that means to stimulate or to get an arouse out of someone emotionally. You've made that person angry. You annoyed that person, especially when that person kept telling you to stop, 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 leave me alone, but you continued and you persisted to aggravate. So eventually you'll get an arousal out of the person that you're picking on or picking at. And then sometimes it doesn't end well like that. But it says, fathers, do not provoke your children. Now, by the same token, that could mean mothers do not provoke your children. That's why we have a lot of children going around. And I've heard people, even in the church, that have unresolved issues with their fathers because their fathers mistreated them. Their fathers may have abused them verbally or abused their mothers. I hear a lot of people that are adults now that do not like their fathers because the fathers merely mistreated their mothers. Now, my father wasn't in my life. He's still living, but I'm not mad at him. I love my father still. If I get around him, I hadn't seen him in years. In fact, when I go back home, I got to tell my sister we really need to visit our father. I don't have nothing against him. He's just like a stranger to me, and that's no shade or anything because he hadn't really been in my life. My grandmother raised me. You hear me say that all the time. But I don't have anything against my father. But a lot of people are running around because their fathers, they're running around with unresolved issues, even to the point where they hate their father because their father provoked them when they were a child. And by the same token, as I stated earlier, mothers can provoke their children. Case in point, I am close with a loved one who has 4 children. And 2 of the children growing up, I kind of was there in their life as they were growing up. And I would tell the mother, I'm like, you need to be careful because when these children grow up, they're going to wind up hating you. Now, that wasn't me being mean. That was just me from the outside looking in, looking at the situation and looking how the mother and the children were interacting. And you can see, every time the mother would come around, the children would their spirit just go down. And then every time the mother would talk to the children, she would call them all kind of names, all kind of WHORES, yes. And it was ridiculous. And I say, you need to be careful because one day these children are going to be grown and they're going to remember this. And it's not going to be a pretty sight. Friend, let me tell you today, I've seen issues from time to time when the children were grown and they were even expressed to me how they feel toward their mother. But last week, I got a call from the mother saying that, my children did this to me. They said this and I feel useless. I can't believe my children would talk to me like that, talk to their mother. Friend, I really didn't know what to say. I wanted to say, I told you 10 years ago. I told you 12 years ago. Friend, don't play the victim now. You kept poking the bear. I didn't tell her that because she was very distraught. She was very discouraged and hurt. All I could do was just listen and say, hey, this too shall pass. Because I can see both sides. Yes, she's the mother and she's hurt. But the children, you abuse those children verbally. So they're actually grown now and telling you how they feel. It's an unfortunate situation, y'all. We have that going on today in our world. And it happens with our parent and children relationship. And it's not a pretty sight when these children get grown. It's very unfortunate. Now, by the same token, we see this behavior it's in our world. This goes on, you know me, it's not only limited to one area. I always, apply it to every aspect of our lives. I remember a situation at work years ago where I felt like leadership just kept poking. And everyone has a tolerance level. Yes, I'm saved and I'm spiritual, but I'm also in flesh. And I know people will push you to that tolerance level. Hear me, friend. You hear what I'm saying? Ooh, yes, sir. I know, especially our people. Our people will push the envelope until we get a response. And then once we clap back or, get back on them or whatever the case is, then they want to cry the victim. No, when I've told you. So I remember at work, they kept on. And one day we had a meeting, and it was the straw that something was said or done that broke. It was the straw that broke the camel's back, as they say. It was the icing on the cake. I mean, I lost it. And they've never seen me act that way before. I went off and on everyone in that conference room and walked out and slammed the door and went back to my desk. Didn't even care what happened at that point. Wasn't even thinking. Because when you get to a point, sometimes you don't think. But needless to say, I'm still there employed. Thank God. But now they know not to cross me like that again. Now that was a fortunate situation. Me being a black man in the corporate world, we don't even have to go that far to get let go from a job. But I guess I had been there for such a long time and had some tenure. I got a little respect, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But on the other hand, they kept poking. And I would take it. I took it for like a whole 2 years. But this one particular time, I just exploded. I went off like a rocket, sir. Of course, I did apologize for it, and I told God to help me with that. Forgive me. And on the other hand, I was kind of proud of myself for doing that, because I never really did that. Sometimes people take your kindness and your niceness for weakness, and they think they can run over you. But I'm like, okay, now they know not to fool with me. But anyways, everybody has a tolerance level. Don't poke the bear. And this is what goes on the YouTube streets. We tell people to leave others alone. You have content creators going at each other. Some content creators are minding their own business, and people are coming for them and calling them, and they're just like, leave me alone, I'm not bothering you. And the other content creators trying to ignore the other content creator, but they keep coming, and after a while they clap back. And my friend, when they come back, we've seen it on these streets, these people come back much harder than they came. Yes, they go to doxing and pulling up deceased mother. A lot of times they told you to leave me alone. And then we go to look at the other content creator that doxed and say, that's a shame, you shouldn't be doing that. But what did we say when the content creator kept coming at the other person? You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not a proponent of violence and things like that. I don't support that type of behavior. But I do understand from looking at it, on the other side, she kept telling you, or he kept telling you, to leave me alone, but you kept poking the bear. So what she had to do, she had to hit below the belt, or he had to hit below the belt. And he had to do something vitriolic, so to speak, to get you off them. So now you'll think twice about doing that. Because I've heard people say, oh no, I ain't gonna fool with her because she dox people. We got sick. Oh no, I ain't saying that. Sometimes we avoid those people because that fool, they're crazy. Pull up and all that. Some people will actually pull up. So don't poke the bear, y'all. I think we are learning this, and some have learned this. Leave people alone. The scriptures say that we should follow peace, right, with all men. All right, friend, I just thought I would bring this exhortation to you. I hope it blesses you. In the meantime, in between time, be at peace and not in pieces. And leave people alone. Don't poke the bear, my friend. All right, till next time.